Just Brandy.
Ladies and gentlemen, in honor of the return of the Just Brandy Starshine moment, we have with us the founder and establishmentarian of the online blog True Exclusives, an online blog that hit the scene in 2009 and relaunched in 2012. Credited on numerous entertainment outlets such as PerezHilton.com, Huffington Post, MediaTakeout.com, The Howard Stern Show, and The New York Post. With now more than thousands of hits daily and supporters from over 150 countries. Some of the artists that have been featured on his blog includes, but not limited to, Trey Songz, Mariah Carey, Diddy, T.I., Patti LaBelle, Keisha Cole, Don Richard, and of course our girl Brandy. Help us welcome Mr. True Exclusives himself, Mr. Worldwide, Mr. A part of Brandy's official team, also affectionately known to some as Frank. Let's give it up to the man behind the camera, Mr. SilentBX.
What's Wow, that intro was absolutely amazing. But what's up?
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm on a high over that intro.
That's wonderful. I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for taking the time out to talk to us today. Just want to just kind of pick your brain a little bit, and we just kind of see where it goes from there. Okay.
Okay, I'm ready. Thanks for having me.
Okay. All right. First of all, just tell us who you are, where you're from, and a little about who Silent is, and actually where the name came from.
Well, I'm Silent. I'm from the Bronx, born and raised in the Bronx, New York City. Hence my Twitter name, SilentBX. Silent. This came from my uncle. I'm very to myself. I'm more of an observer. I'm always watching, and I'm picking people's brain without them even knowing that I am, just by watching their actions. So he just kind of like, yo, you remind me, because he was in jail at one point. He was like, you remind me of this dude in jail. I knew his name was Silent. Nobody bothered him. And he just walked around like he was mad at the world, but he was so cool and da-da-da. And it literally just stuck with me. And when we started True Exclusive, I had started it originally with 4 girls. And we didn't really want people calling us by our real name that we didn't know. So we was just like, you know, what do people call you or whatever. And I already had Silent, so that's what I used, and it stuck. Wow.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So being raised in one of the most fast-paced cities in America, can you tell us where the idea of True Exclusives came from?
Well, as a teenager, me and my friends would go around and just, we joked and called it stalking celebrities. We weren't really stalking. We were just going to shows and stuff, and just as fans, you know, supporting whoever we liked. Right. And it was actually big in New York. Like, a lot of other teenagers or even grown folks would be like outside of TRL or whatever. And one day we were on the bus and we was just like, man, we be seeing all these celebrities, we should make use of it, like start a site or something and just see where it goes. And literally 2 days later, I made a site, and I had already been taking pictures, and people used to always be like, oh man, that's like a True Exclusive right there. Nobody got those pictures. And we went with that name, and it just went from there. Like, I always took it seriously.
Right.
And, you know, eventually I partied with the girls. You know, we're still cool or whatever, but I definitely took it way more seriously, and, yeah, here we are now.
Cool. So what do you see as the vision or long-time goal of True Exclusives?
Like, I want to be the source. You know, like, I want to be like, you know, everybody goes to TMZ or CNN or a credible source. Like, you know, if it comes from there, 9 times out of 10 it's accurate. But I want to be 10 times out of 10. You know what I mean? And I want to be a positive, because I was tired of seeing the negative stuff on the blogs, because that's really all they talk about, like the bad stuff. I just kind of want to shine light on the positive things that celebrities are doing and just on the music or the material that they're putting out, because that's really what it's all about. We don't need to know what the hell they're doing in their private lives, even though we do want to know. But so yeah, I just want to be the place to go for the accurate stuff and for the true exclusive stuff you ain't gonna see nowhere else.
Right. We see on your site that you have tons of pop culture information, exclusive interviews, and live performances, but you also have a section called The Green Room. Can you tell us more about that and what we're going to see coming from it?
The Green Room is basically just a behind-the-scenes look at an artist, kind of like past the velvet rope, past security, into the dressing room, aka the green room, as they prepare for a show or prepare to film whatever they're going to film. And they kind of do a cappella, like, originally I wanted to do a performance segment, like an intimate performance thing. But then some other sites did it before I got to put it out. And I was just like, okay, now I got to flip it and do something different. So I thought of the a cappella thing. So yeah, it's like a little a cappella and then a little interview, getting to know the artist, and then just behind the scenes, like getting fans to see a different side of celebrity.
Wow, okay, that's wonderful. It's no secret that you are definitely a Brandy fan, and she's been featured on your site countless times. Can you tell us a little bit about how that relationship started?
Brandy. I met Brandy in 96, actually, the ending of 96. Yeah, and I actually met her by accident. It was like at midnight. I was crossing the street in the city to go to a club, because Diddy was having like some party, and I was doing my picture thing. The limo, as I was crossing the street, a limo almost hit me. I don't think I've ever told this story publicly. And I'm from New York, and although I'm silent, I'm not so silent at times.
Right.
So I was like, what the F, whatever. And the door opens, because they had just pulled into like the sidewalk.
Wow.
And the door opened and she walked out, and I was just like I didn't even know what to say, what to do. Because, at that time I was, Brandy was, I would never say never, so, Brandy was my girl. That was like my artist. So I was just like, this just can't be real. This does not just happen. So I met her there, it was just a quick meeting, whatever, we took a picture, that was that. I ended up seeing her like maybe 5 or 6 months later, and she remembered me. And that's when we really were formally introduced, told her my name, whatever. Saw her maybe 2 or 3 months later, because that's when Never Say Never was just dropping, so she was doing like events around the city or whatever. And like I said, I was already doing that, meeting celebrities, different places. So I just kind of was seeing her a few times that year, and we just connected. I don't really know how else to explain it. We just exchanged numbers, and at first I had a voicemail thing for her. Like, it was a thing where I would call, and the operator would tell her I called, and then she would call me back. And that's how it started. Yeah, that's how it started. I know, I'm probably telling my age. That sounds like so old school.
It's all right.
That's really how it began, and then she would just be like, oh, I'm coming to New York, coming to this show, come here, and yeah, that's how it began.
Cool. You recently posted a throwback Thursday video of a not so silent, pretty much a younger version of yourself meeting Brandy again. I don't know if that was which time that was, but cool. Can you tell us a little bit about that moment, when it was and where and how it all kind of transpired?
Well, she was going to be on 106 to premiere the video for What About Us, of Full Moon, and I went, which was the normal thing. I would go to most of her New York appearances. Before we went into the audience, they was like, anybody got a question for Brandy, whatever, and everybody knew how I was with Brandy, so everybody was just pointing to me like, yeah, him, you got to get him, yeah. So they was just like, when we show the video, you say what you say or whatever. Yeah, so then there was like, if you want, you can ask her for a hug or whatever. So when we did the thing, I think I was so tired that I was able to just talk. Because normally I'm to myself, I'm not that talkative. Mm-hmm. But I was so exhausted that it just, I don't know, I was just another person. And I didn't even ask for the hug. I'm like, she gotta give me a hug. Like, yeah, it's me, Frank. Like, I know, every time I watch it, I'm like, oh God, this is crazy. But she said yeah, and she was like, because I had just had braids, and she hadn't seen me ever with braids, so I didn't think she knew who I was. I just thought, she can't see me from the stage. She'll know it's me. That's why I was like, it's me, Brand, it's Frank.
Exactly. It was rumored that you and Brandy had like a beef for a minute, but now y'all are like cool as thieves. Are you able to elaborate on that?
We didn't really have a beef. You know, anybody who's friends or whatever relationship you have, whether it's dating, friends, family, whatever, you're always gonna go through something. I can't think of one relationship that's never had, you know, disagreements. Mm-hmm. So that's all that was. Just a little disagreement. We got over it, and
cool.
I know she would bring it up like everywhere, like, don't do this. Frank Silent will follow you.
Yeah, we kept hearing it like all the time. If you were in the building or whatever have you, it's like you don't be like Frank. So yeah, yeah. So what are some of the misconceptions about the Silent and Brandy relationship?
I don't know. Are there misconceptions?
I mean, it's like, I guess with you being as close as you are to her, people think that you are the connection to her. Whereas that pretty much you can make anything happen, and that may not always be the case.
Yeah, that is not the case. I can't make her. That's definitely not the case. So I guess that would be a misconception. I would like to say she values my opinion or takes into thought any ideas or whatever I might have. So that's always good because I'm always thinking from the fans' perspective. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, what would they want to, or what would I want to see? Just for my favorite artist. So almost 10 times out of 10, whatever the fans are saying, I've already said it, or I'm on my way to say it, or whatever the case may be. So misconceptions, yeah, I don't know. I guess that's one.
Cool.
Because, you know, just because I say it don't mean it's going to happen.
Right. At the end of the day, people make their own decisions.
Right. Exactly.
Would you call yourself a star or just a friend or a confidant now?
I'd say I'm all of that. No, that sounds so cocky. I don't mean it like that. I'm just saying, like, I think I want to be a star. Like, I was a fan of Brandy. I'm still a fan of Brandy, the artist, but I also know Brandy, the person. So
right, cool. So tell us, what is your role on the Brandy team?
I kind of do a lot, but I'm gonna stick to social media coordinator.
Gotcha.
And personal videographer. But
that answers a lot of, some questions that some people probably want to know is like, well, what does he actually do?
Right. Yeah, because I know in the beginning, there was a lot of stars who did not like me. And I was just like, I ain't do nothing. Like, y'all don't even know. I be looking out for y'all all the time.
Right. But
I think just it might be one of those things, like, you know, when someone, like, let's say your sister's dating someone new or new person in the family and you're just not sure, you're like, yeah, I don't really know. You got to warm up to them. So I think maybe that's what it was. And after a while, they saw, like, my intention, because my intention, I always got Brandy back, you know what I mean? So I think now they kind of get it, like, okay, he's cool.
So what is it about Brandy that you love so much and are so adamant about seeing her win?
Wow, that's a good question. I don't know. Brandy's just, well, for one, Brandy is just Brandy. There will never be another Brandy. Like, no one ever will come close to what Brandy has accomplished or what she's accomplishing now, or what she's going to do in the future. Her talent is just, I don't really have words. Like, it's always hard to explain, but that seems like such a simple question. But Brandy all around, and as a person, like, you know, I think everything I said in the tribute video, the 20-year tribute video, just kind of sums it up. She just all around, she's a great person, just in general, and as an artist, no one comes close. And I just always feel like she needs to be reminded of that. She should always be uplifted, and the world should be reminded. You know, because sometimes I think people, maybe they don't forget, but it's just kind of like it's in the back of their mind. You know what I mean? Because you're not really out there. People just kind of, whatever, it's on to the next person. But it's like, you can't forget. Like, are you kidding me?
Right.
You just can't.
Wow. So what was your first real introduction to Brandy Norwood? Even before you met her, what was like that first moment where you just knew that this is my girl?
This is going to sound crazy because I don't really remember knowing of her when that first album came out. I was really, really, really late to the music game. Like, I didn't really know music. I wasn't really watching TV. As far as I remember going to a store and I just wanted to buy a tape. And the guy was like, well, what do you want? And I'm like, I don't know. And I remember I saw Mary J. Blige's cassette, and I was like, can you play this? And he played it, and I liked what it was, and I just bought it. I didn't know who she was. I never heard the song or whatever. But I remember that summer going to my father's house in New Jersey, and I remember wanting to buy like all these magazines with Brandy in it. So I really can't remember how I heard her stuff, because then after the magazines, I went and bought the album. And I was just like, wow, this is it. But I do remember sitting in my room. I remember when the video premiered, and I remember watching the video. She don't even know this. I don't think I told anybody this, but I remember watching the video, and I was just like, yo, I'm going to know this girl. I'm going to meet this girl, and we're going to be so close. And I remember I used to tell that to people in school. They used to be like, man, get out my face with that. Like, you know how people are. And I was just like, nah, you don't understand. She going to know me. She going to be calling me. We're going to be chilling. And they used to be like, yo, whatever, man. It's just crazy that everything that's happened, I already envisioned.
Cool.
Like, everything. It's crazy.
So, what is your all-time favorite Brandy song and why?
I always say Sitting Up in My Room, because in high school I used to dedicate that song to every girl I liked. I know that's so bad. Like,
oh, that's so corny.
I know, right? Like, it wasn't one girl. It was like every single girl I liked. Like, yeah, this is for you. I'm sitting in my room thinking about you. So that just kind of always sticks out. I love Tomorrow. What else? So many, you know?
Yeah, so many.
Great songs. But yeah, I guess In My Room, Tomorrow, those songs are really it for me.
So what is your favorite Brandy album?
Full Moon. Full Moon, definitely. Full Moon, definitely. Yeah, Full Moon.
You said that about 3 times.
That album is, I know, right? Like, that album's incredible. Like, I feel like if that album came out today, it would still be fresh. If that album came out 5 years from now, it would still be fresh. It would still be like, damn, this girl is singing her ass off. But yeah, so yeah, definitely Full Moon. What's your favorite song? Okay.
My favorite song by Brandy, period, is on that album, Love Wouldn't Count Me Out. That's my favorite song.
That's a great one.
That one, and my favorite fast song off the album.
I thought it was crazy.
I thought that, sorry, because I believe that's the best vocal on a fast song done by a female ever in life.
That song is insane.
But if she was to do I think I could just, die a happy man. I think so.
She needs to. That would kind of be a great opening song.
I think so. I just want her to kill that one good time.
I've been trying to get her to do Love Wouldn't Count Me Out.
Whew. I'll be under the table. I'll be under the table. Okay, so Brandy is not only known as a phenomenal singer, but also an accomplished actress. Which role by Brandy is your favorite and why?
Wow. My favorite role? Damn. Wow. I don't know if I have a favorite, but Moesha has always did so much for her, did so much for girls around the world, and just teenagers in general as a positive influence. So I think I'll go with that. But Chardonnay crazy too. Like, yeah. And as much as Brandy try to play it off, whatever, like, girl, you got a lot in common with Chardonnay.
I think out of everything she's ever played, Chardonnay is probably the closest. I think Chardonnay now, not Chardonnay when she first joined the game. Right. Even that role has kind of, it's progressed over the years. So, but where Chardonnay is now, to me, seems more like Brandy.
I totally agree.
You've been privy to a lot of live shows, and that we as regular stars have not. But if you had to pick your favorite live experience, which one would it be?
I was just talking about this the other day, and I can't remember now. That's crazy. I do love that London moment right before she does When You Touch Me, and the audience is just, like, it was just a moment, and you can tell she was overwhelmed, and then the way she just went into When You Touch Me, I thought that was a really amazing moment. Like, so that would be one of them. She killed the New York show. You was there, right?
Yes, sir.
She really killed the New York show. I remember I was recording, I can't remember what song it was at what point. It might have been the Whitney medley or somewhere else, But I remember I was recording it, and I got so overwhelmed. I was just like, yo, who is this bitch on stage? I don't mean to curse on the show or whatever, but and I told her after two, I was just like, yo, what was that? Like, what came over you? That was a great show, yeah. So I think I'm going to go with New York and London, yeah.
I'll be trying to tell people that if you have not seen Brandy live in the last year, it's a totally different Brandy.
It really is.
Like, live vocals, just totally different Brandy. Like, yeah. Since we're on the topic of live shows, we at Starz see you filming a lot of footage. Will we ever get an official Brandy documentary?
I know, and we talk about it all the time. I don't know. We talk about it all the time. We've talked about so many different things. I'm sure something eventually is going to come out that we'll collaborate on. But right now, nothing concrete. But I'm almost sure something's going to happen.
I'd really love to see it. Especially the behind-the-scenes stuff.
I need to keep tweeting her, though. Just keep tweeting her, keep tweeting her. I'm always reminding her, too. But if y'all just keep telling her, maybe she'll just be like, all right, we got to do this.
Cool. Anyone who follows you on Twitter at SilentBX, you are known to be not so silent. Where does that part of you come from?
I don't know. Twitter for me, it's like a gift and a curse, because I tend to forget that there are people actually reading this stuff that I'm tweeting. So, yeah. So it's like naturally whenever I see something, or I'm going through something, or I get a thought, or it could just be anything, I just for some reason go straight to Twitter. Twitter's like my brain open to the world. And which, like I said, is the gift and the curse, because sometimes it backfires. But that's just where it comes out. I don't know why I go to Twitter. It's just, I think it's because once you put it out, it's like so many people relate, and you always want people to relate to you. Mm-hmm. That's why when we go through stuff, we call a friend, or we get their opinion on it, or whatever. So I think that's what Twitter is for me. And I mean, I wouldn't change it, though. Whatever. I stand by anything I say anyway, so it is what it is. But yeah, after a certain time on Twitter, I'm not silent.
No, you're not. Okay, Brandy is known for her words of wisdom, known as Brandoms. Do you have a personal favorite?
One time she told me, and this is something that I always took with me ever after that convo. She was like, "Get what you deserve." I'm like, oh, this is a Brandom right here. You have to get what you deserve. Like, if you're not happy with what you're getting, then go out and get what you deserve. And it's like, you're so right. Like, so many times we complain about whatever we're not receiving, or whatever we're not getting, whether it's from someone, or whether it's happiness, or whether it's money from work, or whatever the case may be. But if you deserve it, you work hard, like, because I was going through something where, because I work hard in whatever I do. And I didn't feel, and that goes as far as relationship, or just work in general, or whatever. I go hard. So, and I just felt like nothing was happening. Like, I'm just like, yo, like, I'm putting in all this work, and it feels like I'm being taken advantage of, or they're not seeing what I'm doing. And she just said that, and it just really clicked with me. And now I don't, if I ain't getting what I'm putting in, I'm out. So I'll just say that as a Brandom, even though it wasn't a Brandom.
Hey, it was something that impacted you, so, hey, it fits.
Exactly.
So tell us, this current era, the 211 era, what were some of your highs or lows of this current era?
Highs and lows of 211. I'm going to get the lows out the way. I don't really think there were lows, but if I had to, it'd just be that it wasn't reached to a bigger audience. Because like you said, our performances, or all of that should be seen by a much larger audience. Like, and I would say that was a low, but the high is whoever did receive it, whoever did see it, they understood it, they appreciated it, and they were wowed by it. They were floored by what they saw. So it's kind of like a catch-22. It's like not really a low. So I mean, yeah, I'll just go with that. And then of course, you know, just experiencing everything. Like this was the first time I was working with her, so it was just amazing to see what it took to make everything happen, to put it out there. So, and then just all the, like, I feel like this is the first time the fans really were, well, let me not say the first time, because then they're going to get mad at me, like, what you saying? We would never help them before. But, let me choose my words wisely.
Right.
But, you know, it just felt like the Starz were really, 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 really behind this project more than any other project. I don't know if it's because social media was more, you know, it was bigger now this time than previous projects. But that was another high, just to see the fans interacting and supporting and trying to get things seen and make things happen. So yeah, that was dope.
Cool.
I mean, and she's still out there pushing the project, you know,
Absolutely.
doing dates and I feel like it's just a high. It's still a high.
Yeah. A lot of fans have shown some apprehension to her current team from the only having 2 singles from the past 2 albums to seemingly some lack of promotion and sometimes lack of visibility from the label. As a member of her team, what are you at liberty to voice about some of the decisions that were made, the label choices, and or what the future holds for the B-Rocker team?
What can I say about this without getting in trouble?
Yeah, don't get in trouble.
I mean, you know, sometimes it's just higher powers involved, and they call the shots. You know, we know that. That goes for every artist. And there's just certain things you can't do. But what we can do is what we're doing. And again, I'm not trying to toot my own horn or whatever, but I just feel like as time goes on, I get deeper in, I think, because I honestly feel like one of the reasons me and her met or connected was to, and I tell her this all the time, and was to bring her back to what she was. Not to say she's not that anymore, but you know what I'm trying to say, like
right.
The top of the top. I think the more that's kind of like how we started with all the behind the scenes videos, and she never had that really.
No.
Honestly, like she never had all this.
No.
So I just feel like with all those little things that we can do, we can bring it back to what it was or what it should be, I should say. Yeah. That's why I always tell the Starz, like, there's nothing I wouldn't do for Brandy, and there's nothing that I will not do for Brandy, because I'm going to do everything I can do, anything possible to make things happen, and I've been doing it so far, and I'm going to continue to do it, and I think she sees that, and little by little, everything is leading up to that moment, and that moment will happen. I will guarantee that. So we just got to keep it positive and, you know, keep doing what we're doing.
Absolutely. I know, like, after watching her this past year, like, I'm so excited for her next project. Not saying that we're just discounting the current project out, but I know this year was like a resurgence of not only her confidence but her stage presence. Like, I can really see like this next move being that move. And from you being on her team and going through this past year, what changes do you see for the next album or the next go round from the Brandy team? Like, you mean like what changes I want to see, or
yeah, the last era, a lot of things were, what's the word? Prolonged. Like, you know, the video took so long to come out, and even the song going to iTunes, and just because for me it's always the little things, because the little things help the big things happen. So I feel like a lot of the little things were a little, I don't want to say off, but they were a little. The thing is, we all know, we all saw it. We all saw that the video took long to come out. We all saw whatever. We all saw, you know what I mean? So it's not like it's a big secret of what was done wrong. So I just feel like the little things will be changed. I don't want to say should be changed. They will be changed. And, you know, everything's a learning experience. And I think with this last project, going into the next, she's going to know. She knows what to do, what not to do, and where to go with it. And like you said, it's a research of her confidence and whatnot. And like I said, everything leads up to that moment. So this was just almost sort of like a reintroduction. Like, look, I'm here and I ain't going nowhere. Like, I mean, come on, she had her first top 10 hit in 10 years. If that doesn't say something, I don't know what does. So that's just a taste, telling people, like, look, I still got it, bitches.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah, right. I do believe the next era will do what we all wanted to do.
On a much lighter note, what is your favorite 211 track and why?
Wow. Probably Without You, just because she's singing her ass off, and I always want her to sing her ass off. Just the lyrical content. I'm a romantic at heart. If anybody follows me on Twitter, they know that song just really, I connected with it. Yeah.
Cool. All right, so here's your stand moment question. True Exclusives recently released a 20 years in the industry video celebrating 20 years. Tell us more about how that came about and also your reaction to the influence that Brandy has on music in general.
That video came about maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I just thought, you know, my purpose has always been to celebrate Brandy and like I said, uplift her and whatnot. And I always knew of her influence, but I just felt like people didn't know, outside of fans and people in the industry. They really didn't know. Like, people would kind of downplay her. And it's like, no, like, are you kidding me? Like, these people you love her. They go to her for inspiration. Like, you got to be shitting me. And I go again with the cursing. So I just kind of wanted to do that, and I started doing it. And originally I was going to show it at the relaunch as a surprise last year. Mm-hmm. But I was like, well, I could show a few of them and then get someone to perform a tribute. That would be better. But then I ended up not even showing the video. I was like, you know what? It would be best just to do the tribute, the live tribute. But it was just going to be too much, you know, and we just had a short period of time. So I just continued to do the video, and I was, at a certain point, I was like, okay, well, I got all these people. I might as well keep going. Like, why stop now? Why not get bigger people? Because I know she's influenced even bigger artists. I just kept going, and I would have kept going. I would have never dropped it on this year. But I just felt like it was time. It was a year later from 2011, plus it was a 20-year mark in the industry, and it just felt like the right moment, and I put it out, and it did. Like, my intention was nothing about views or whatever the case might be, but it did so much more than I still can't believe. Like, I just tweeted today earlier that it just reached 400,000 views. That's almost 500,000. Like, wow. It's crazy. Like, and that was my purpose, for people to see and understand what she's done and what, you know, what kind of impact she's had in the industry. I didn't tell none of these artists to say what they said. Like, you know, I didn't even prep them to say, well, you know, make it heartfelt or say whatever. All I said was, I'm doing this and this and this for Brandy. Do you have any words that you might want to say? And they just all went in. Like, it wasn't no just, hey, congratulations. It was like, you know, they were standing. They were. You know what I mean? And it just came out so great, and you know, it was done out of love, and I feel like it shows, because everybody shows love on it, and they appreciated her, and I think that she saw it too.
That whole thing that people say about Brandy, that she's underrated, whatever, I think that video alone kind of squashes all that, because a lot of times I hear they'll say that the only people that really like Brandy are Brandy fans. But that video shows, no, it's not just the Brandy fans. Right. Or, you know, regular common folk. But it's industry people that really go hard for her. And I think it was good for her to hear that as well.
Yeah, I definitely think it was great for her. You know, because too many times we try to celebrate artists when they're gone. Like, why not celebrate them when they're here? And I felt like, you know what? I have a site or whatever. I have, you know, why not? Like, I'm not about to be sitting around waiting for someone to do this for her. I'm going to do it my damn self.
Right.
And I will continue to, if I have to be the one to do it. But
as long as you're not the one to edit it.
That video took forever to edit, but yeah.
Okay, so now the question that everybody wants to know. Does Silent sing? And
Silent
if so,
does not sing.
and if so, can we hear a little bit of you singing your favorite Brandy song?
Not happening. That is not going to happen.
Okay. For all the stars out there, tell us how we can find SilentBX, whether it be website, social media.
Well, you can follow me on Twitter at SilentBX. It's SILENTBX, or True Exclusive on Twitter and TrueExclusive.com. And I'm there. Cool. Instagram SilentBX. Most everything is SilentBX for True Exclusive.
Cool. Finally, if you had to give your own Brandom, what would it be?
Oh wow, my own Brandom. You know what? I'll be tweeting some stuff sometimes. I'm not gonna call them Brandoms because I can't. My name ain't Brandy, but I got to call them something. I mean, I always say this line. It ain't something I came up with, but I truly believe in this and believe people when they show you who they are. And I think so many times we look past it just because we're in love or whatever, and we're just in love with the thought of love, and we kind of ignore what is being shown to us. And then in the end, when it doesn't work, it's like, well, why the hell didn't this? Because they showed you and you didn't believe them. Like, we need to believe people when they, and I'm at fault for that too. I think a lot of us are. But no, we need to believe people when they show us who they are. And normally people will show you immediately. Like, you shouldn't even be surprised. But yeah, I'll go with that one.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Well, Silent, I want to thank you for taking your time out of your busy schedule to speak with me and also the world. I know the stars appreciate everything that you do for us. We want to give you the final word. If you want to say anything lastly, the floor is yours.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate that. And, you know, I'm a fan of this segment. I always say that when you interviewing the stars or whatnot. Listen, like I said, stars, I got your girl's back. That's our girl, and I'm going to do everything in my power that I have to do to get her where she needs to be, or at least try and help. Continue doing what y'all doing, because you guys help too when you putting the word out there. So it's a team effort, all in all. And I appreciate y'all as much as y'all appreciate me, and that's it. Signing out.
Thank you, sir.
Just Brandy.